Welcome to BT8 with Dr. Q. We are joined by two of my best friends today, Nzuzo and Mqo, or as our host here in Dalstrom refers to him, Mqozi. That is the name we're going to go by, my brother. How are you, Mqo?
I'm good, Q. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Nzuzo, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. And I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about something that most young men don't often talk about. In fact, we're going to cover a number of themes. I have briefed you guys, so we're not going to act like we didn't have a briefing. But right in front of me, I've got a number of set questions because there was no way in hell I was going to remember this straight from my head. But the title of today's episode is The Lies Men Tell to Survive and the Reason Why Adulthood is a Trap. And maybe as an icebreaker question, I'd like to ask from you, Nduzo, how are your finances currently looking like?
Oh, sure. My finances are, all over the place. I could say, maybe they are a Titanic.
Titanic, why Titanic?
Um, I think I hit an iceberg. Yeah.
Shane, I suppose most of us relate to that. Bro, how is your bank account looking like?
It definitely doesn't have 7 digits, but it's healthy.
But it's what?
It's healthy, very much healthy. I'm not
Oh my
financially
God.
overstretched. I'm happy.
I seriously wish I could sit here and say I've got a healthy looking bank account. Right now, oh God, I am breathing through the wound. Honestly, I am. And that's one thing that, oh, by the way, this is a disclaimer to everybody that is watching and listening to the episode. These are my bestest friends in the world. And we literally talk about everything under the sky with them. But I haven't spoken to them about my finances. Neither of them have spoken to me about their finances, by the way. But following up to that question, we see this soft life trend on social media. And I know that I may have or may have not spoken to you guys about it in the recent past. And I just want to know, maybe ngizocala ngawe. Does it apply some sort of pressure on you when you see that your peers are living a particular lifestyle that maybe you feel you haven't gotten into in terms of levels?
Not really, Q. In a sense that we all have different financial goals and we have different milestones that we want to reach at a particular time. And sometimes, you don't know where people get their money, their source of income. Some people do 3 or 4 jobs, or they do other things that you may not be comfortable doing. But it doesn't really put pressure on me. But at times, it does act as, um, what can I say? It does motivate me to do better.
Okay, what about you, Nzuzo? Is this facade that most people are putting some sort of pressure on you?
I think because knowing that it is a facade, it definitely doesn't put any pressure. Because people are just putting on a mask that things are okay, maybe when things are not okay. So definitely it does not put any pressure whatsoever. I'm a type of person that just sticks to his lane. You do you, boo. If you think that taking a picture of yourself next to a Maserati is you're going to make us believe that you own one when you don't own one, for me, no pressure.
Yeah, but then I feel like this is one thing that you and I have spoken about. In fact, whenever we meet, you and I literally always talk about this, and I do think that in a way, you've got your own way of thinking. By the way, for starters, both of you, but because I've had this conversation largely with you and Zuzo, I think the type of community that you've established for yourself helps you to also cultivate this kind of thinking. And I think I am in a position of advantage in this regard because I get to have those beautiful conversations with you, and we get to actually break down why people behave the way in which they behave, to some degree at the very least, and try and relate it to our own lives. And I think the concluding word would always be we need to live our reality within the best possible means that we can. Though I think I have had such a conversation with you as well. And when I get, I'm always scared to talk to you about such things for reasons that I'm not gonna say on
I would
this.
like to know those reasons.
Yeah? Sorry.
I'd like to know those reasons.
You are way advanced than Zuzo and I would say. Even when I asked about your bank account, you said it's very healthy. You are there compared to Zuzo and myself combined, even. So, and this is not to say people should go out looking after Mqozi. We don't want people taking advantage of you. But then, here's another thing. Today, this very day, when we were driving from Joburg to Dalstrom, we stopped in how many places? Two places. And then we got here and we drove around, and then we bought some stuff. We just came from dinner about an hour or two ago. And what was interesting for me was how the bill was settled, but nobody spoke about who was going to pay the bill. I found that to be super interesting, and I was like, I'm not going to leave this one out. So, if you're out on a date, what's the unspoken rule about who gets to pay for the bill? Literally, any friends of yours, it doesn't have to be the three of us.
So okay.
Well, it depends. I guess with friends, it's an unspoken rule, really. Whoever wants to settle the bill can settle the bill. But in relationships, it works. The dynamic there works very differently. You'll find that some people will say the person who requested the date is the one responsible for the bill, or the person that earns more or is perceived as the one who has more money is the one who should always settle the bill. But I think amongst friends, because our relationship that we have, like amongst the three of us, we treat each other as equals. So anyone can like settle the bill, regardless if it's supper, it's lunch, or it's breakfast. It's like an unspoken thing, if you know. It's like we work in sync. But yeah, in relationships, then that works totally different.
Okay. Mko?
I think I agree with Unzuzo, where and he said that whoever requested for the date must pay. But at the same time, I think as people, or whether you're going on a date or you're going out with your friend, you kind of understand their financial situation. And, it doesn't hurt to really lift off that burden of paying a bill on that particular day. So yeah, it is an unspoken rule, but it really depends on the relationship that you have with the other person.
What's my financial situation? How do we decide who gets to pay when you and I are out? Both of you, actually. Okay, I know with you, Mko, we don't have a rule of how we handle bills, but I thought Nzuzo would share this when he was responding. Because I know with he and I, we are very clear about who gets to pay the bill and when. So when we go out, I would cover this round. I could cover the next round, but the standard rule is if I pay today, tomorrow you are paying, and so on in that pattern. But I would like to know from you, how do you then get to decide that no, Q is going to pay, I'm not going to pay?
I think if we have had a finances conversation before, right, and you're telling me that this month is not really a good month for you, then I'll obviously pay because I know what you're going through. But if you can come and tell me that, hey, ngipopile, definitely I'll ask you to pay the bill. But you do also have those people who, I don't know if I can call it pride or what, but even though they see that they are struggling, but they'll still insist on paying the bill. That is why, as friends, or if you are in any kind of relationship, it's very important that you have a transparent discussion around finances. You don't have to get deep into it, but at least let the other person have an idea of where you are financially.
Hmm. I mean, granted, but I just wonder if I would ever allow that to happen. I don't know. I always want to contribute. I think I've got a thing of I can take care of myself kind of
Mm,
mentality, which is not a very positive mentality. To some extent, yes, but to some extent, it is not at all.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, one ends up suffering, right? But then there's another uh, question that I thought I should ask you. We come from Black families, and we find ourselves at a time where we have to give in our families, whether it is with extended family or immediate family or whoever else is within our vicinity. And this is what we normally refer to as black tax. And right now, we are at that age where we cannot escape black tax. Nduzo, I know that I asked you this question randomly earlier, and you said that you don't have those problems. I think that is very much a lie because you and I have had conversations about who you are supporting within the family and outside the family as well, right? So you very much are in that pot as well. So when does black tax cross the line from helping loved ones to actually destroying your own savings? So I will start with you.
Okay. Um, First of all, I don't like the concept of black tax. Um, yes, I don't. I don't like the concept of black tax. For me, if you are assisting a family member, you are doing it out of love. And you also identify a need to assist the particular individual. However, over the years, I think personally I've been very generous, and lately I've been learning to have some boundaries around it. So the way I'm marking those boundaries is I have my needs first that I need to fulfill. And then after that, I can then assist another person. But it can never be me prioritizing another person.
Hmm, that's very interesting. I'd like to bring in a fourth person into this conversation. His name is Samgeliso Dumagude. He is in KZN in what is that place next to Maran Hill? I always forget it. It rhymes like Harding, but it's in Mpumalanga. Igama layo lesiZulu Mpumalanga.
Isn't
I
it
think
Hammersmith?
Hammersdale is the name of the place. That's where he's located. And we're having this conversation around black tax. And he was also expressing rather, how much he hates the term black tax. And I had to sit and make him realize how important it is for us to use uncomfortable terms like black tax, because people like ourselves don't find themselves in a situation where when you finish varsity and you start work, you you start your life. You always have to go back home. Whether it is out of love or whether it is not out of love, you are bound to actually do that because we are raised to give back to our families. It's not an optional thing. The moment that we say we hate the term of the use black tax, and because we're doing things out of love, it means that we don't see ourselves as obligated to go back and really do the things that we're doing. Whereas we are systematically bound to actually go and give back to our families, especially our immediate families. I'm thinking of my family back home. There is no way that I could say I'm doing it out of love. So that would denote that if I didn't feel like actually making a contribution let's say, for instance, I'm paying for electricity or food or whatever, I would then not do it because I don't feel like doing it. I don't think that that is how it works, and I don't think there's a full understanding of the term black tax when we make it seem as if it's some sort of an optional thing for us to do. I don't know. I don't know if I'm articulating that in a manner that you would understand it. But in my humble opinion, I think black tax is black tax. It should be regarded as black tax. In fact, if we had a stronger term, I would even say let us go for it, because most of us started work. I know a lot of people that started working a decade ago. They don't even own a single vehicle. They don't even own a house because they are renting in the cities where they're staying. But they are very much giving a large chunk of their salaries back home because they have to. They are the only ones that are making contributions ekhaya basebenza bodwa. You know, the economic crisis in South Africa, as far as the triple challenge is concerned, poverty, unemployment, and inequality, those are real things that affect our brothers and sisters out there. Maybe the three of us could be better, but I do think that other people have it worse. But that's just my opinion on this black tax term. I'm not sure if you've got a response there, Mqo.
Yeah, I want to come in. I think the reason why okay, maybe let's start by defining the word tax, in a simple term. And that is really, tax is really a mandatory thing that one needs to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm of the view that it is not really mandatory for you to assist your family, although you need to have you actually need to have an honest and transparent discussion with them to say that these are my plans now. I can be able to do one, two, three. If maybe there's any other expectations from you, I can only do those at a particular time. I don't think it's fair for parents to force their kids to assist them on something. From a personal experience, I mean, if I'm assisting at home, I'm never forced to do things. It's really when I identify a need, and I believe that I do have the power to assist. But it's not forced that it should happen like that. So it can be black something, but the term tax, guys, I disagree with it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing with tax, and Nzuzo, you can jump in after this. With tax, it's mandatory. Unfortunately, it's something that you can't escape. But if you try and bring this within the black man's context, and if you look pre 1994 and the conditions we used to live under, and then what we carried through up to now, you very much see that most of the things that we tend to struggle with or suffer from are systematically designed, and they were created during that era. We carried them through until now. A black child born in the 90s today is mandated to actually give back to the family, in my humble opinion. It's morally just, and I don't think you can separate the two. I don't think you could let your family go to bed hungry simply because you don't feel like providing a kaya, because it's not mandatory for you to do that. And that is why I argue that it's a systematic thing. It goes with your morality as an individual as well. Because if you look at even the designs of our families and the structures and whatnot, you are forever tied to your family. They are your anchor, Polisi. We are not like your European cultured people, because we get our sense of identity largely from the people that we have existed with for so long, which first are our families, then our communities. And you would know this for a fact, because whenever I talk about you, I talk about certain things, you would just say, yo, isidima sami bazothini emphakathini, bazothini esontweni. So you are obligated. You don't have much of a choice. Nzuzo, you will help me with the wording here because ngiyahluleka ukuchaza lento esekhanda lami, but let me hand over to you.
I think we need to then first, as how Mqozi has put it earlier, that tax is something that is mandatory, and unfortunately we can't use then a blanket approach and say that everyone suffers from black tax. When we're saying that there's a black tax, then we have to look at many layers of someone's livelihood. You have to look at their upbringing, their background, their socio-economic status from at home, etc. So black tax for me, in my point of view, is black tax because you are mandatory going to have to contribute towards your family's well-beings, debts, etc. every single month. There is people that contribute towards their family's debt 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 every month, and that is a mandatory. It can't even go down. But I think amongst us as friends here, the three of us, I don't think we can say that we have black tax. We do whenever we feel that we should then intervene in some situations, and then we would do that. But then there's someone out there who doesn't have the choice or the luxury to say, man, I'm not giving my family 6,000 rands. It's mandatory. They need to buy food. They need to buy electricity. They need to buy clothing. As you know, in South African culture, there is a December period. There is an Easter period. So there's people that it's mandatory for them. There's people that were raised by grandmothers and grandfathers whom it's mandatory for them to take care of them because the 2,000 rand pension cannot cover everything. You know, I, for instance, I can't say that I suffer from black tax. My parents, they are pensioners, but they have a pension stipend that is someone else's salary. So they can well afford it themselves. I don't have to intervene to the extent that I need to buy them clothes or that I need to buy food at home. So I think amongst us, as the three of us, I don't really think that we suffer from that. But there are people that it is imposed onto them that it is tax, unfortunately, because they have to give that money. There's someone out there in Johannesburg or in Durban. They're in an apartment. They can choose to go hungry for the month rather than having their grandparents or their family go hungry. So black tax is black tax, but we can't use it as just a blanket approach and say that everyone is suffering from that. Definitely from the three of us, I don't think we can say we are subject to black tax.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if I can sit here and say I don't feel the slightest of that systematically designed system against people of color or the previously disadvantaged, as we often call it. I think it very much exists, and each one of us and yourself, Nzuzo, if I can just give you a reminder, by virtue of you supporting certain members of your extended family, if you are, that's just an example. That is, in a way, some sort of a black tax, especially if you have to do it continuously. And maybe you may say you're doing it on a voluntary basis and whatnot, but
definitely voluntary because I'm not doing it anymore. If it's a certain period of someone's life where you feel you want to intervene. So right now or this year, there's no one that I'm supporting. So
okay.
I don't I don't have black tags.
Okay, granted. Let's close the black text chapter. But I just want to conclude and say, and I'm letting the both of you know, I am in the deepest pits of black text. I am feeling it, but I'm not uncomfortable where I am currently.
Mm. Q, before
Yeah.
you move to the next question, I think then it's our responsibility as people who are getting into parenthood to break that cycle. I feel like we are more financially educated, to know about these things and not put pressure on our kids. I mean, if your kid comes to you and say, "Pops, I'm not doing well this month, or my finances are not looking good," I think it's your responsibility as a parent to understand that your child is lacking, and just try to have that bit of amnesty. You can't really. I feel like it's unfair to just expect someone to be obligated to pay your things. I'm not saying someone shouldn't assist. If they can, they can assist, but don't mandate them into it. That is why we have a lot of our age mates um, dying from suicide, depression, etc. It's because of these things. We are not having honest discussions with our parents as well as our relatives, and I think that our generation should be the one that breaks that cycle.
Hmm. I mean, granted, I agree with you. And Zozo, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. I think we're more at an advantage in terms of how we deal with money. Our generation has had more exposure to money, but then also at the same time, does our generation has the financial maturity for that? That's also another debate altogether, and it then connects to the first question that we had earlier, were about the pressure of social media or peer pressure on how people want to be perceived, whether they're doing well in life or not, or they're putting on a facade for for the streets. So it's definitely it's a whole debate separately in terms of, do we think that our generation has the maturity to break the cycle? Definitely. Is the current economy enabling us to say that us as the next adults in line, are we going to be able to then break that cycle? It's definitely a full on debate and
Mm,
very a multifaceted conversation to be had.
Mhm. Okay. I want to first start by responding to you, Rosie. Mfethu, look at this. So I am based in Port Elizabeth. I'm working. I've got family back home in the village.
yeah.
Now, Uma is not working. My mom is working. This is an example. Uma is not working, and so is the rest of my family. I live this comfortable life in a very nice suburban area. I drive this particular car. I eat foods that would otherwise be regarded as your uh, premium cuisines whatsoever, because I can afford and whatnot.
Mm,
I can choose to or may not choose to support my family. And because my mom is good hearted, I will call her and everything will be okay because she gets pension money. She's able to buy a few house items. But there is a broken window or there is a leak endlini and whatnot, or it could be any other thing within the household. And then a person who gets enough money, who has enough money, or well, money is never enough, who has, I think, an adequate amount of money, um, you can see by the way that they dress, the way I feel like the whole aura changes. Nje. Now, it's okay if in an ideal world, it's my mom and I that exist. But if you bring in the element of the extended family or the wider family, you start thinking, what are they going to say about me as a person when I don't contribute a kaya? This is the woman that raised me. This is a woman, Waihamba, who would go sell on the streets, whether it's thundering and raining or scorching hot. They would always be there doing things so that I can be a medical doctor that I am today. And I'm not a medical doctor. Then you get a sense of then you get a community also. You bring in the community and you think ukuthi abanye omama bazothini, the people that I've always been a pride to growing up, because when you're in a village you are not raised by your family alone, you are raised by the entire village. So you think about, what do they say about me as an individual when I'm not making contributions that would better the life of my mother or of my family back at Kaya? Yet, Mina, I am known to be somebody who lives in Johannesburg and is working and is comfortable in his own living. So I don't know. I think it is for this reason that I was saying maybe we may want not to argue much about the text question, because really for me it does feel like it is something that is one imposed on us, and systematically so, something that we seriously have to attend to. I feel like it exists by systematic design. Yeah, but then there's an issue of morality which we can't run away from, and that's it. In terms of financial maturity and Nzuzo, I always look at people. In fact, even today, I was looking at videos of and it's done by young men. Jesus Christ! I was looking at videos of young men. So they get up, they start taking content, and they dress up very nicely, and then they go to restaurants and they start doing their thing. Now, these are people, okay, at least the two people that I'm thinking about right now, they recently started working within the last 3 years, but there are people that I very well know that are struggling financially, right? But and I've had a conversation with one of them. I asked, but then that's not what we see on social media. And the response was, well, you're not going to go around selling yourself as a poor person. But the question is, you are using your finances to create this content. You are not getting anything from it, number one. And number two, I don't know why you are pleasing people, whether it is for likes or for some other reason, but what good does it serve you? Because at the end of the day, there are no financial gains. Maybe for content creators that are higher up there, yes, but for the rest of us, I don't think there's anything like that. But also, I think the most important question for me is, why do we give into this culture of always wanting to pull this facade that everything is going perfectly and I live such a posh life? Because it taps on that point that you made about financial maturity and do so.
Yeah. So, sometimes there's a term that I like using, and I think I abuse it sometimes. It's called main character syndrome. That when we grow up, and I don't want to put race into it, but I would say, because I'm a black person and I can speak from a point of view of a black person, there's always the thing of, hey, Usman Bani, hey, Ubani, this and all of that. You attract this attention, and it gives you a sense of stature. It also gives you a sense of, I don't know, belonging and somewhat a purpose to an individual who does that. So it when we're seeing our young men and boys who are new into the working industry, and it's, you know, they're in few months or years of earning a salary, but they're splurging it, you know, in nightclubs, etc., etc. It also boils down to people feeling that I grew up in such a home that maybe was below the poverty line, and now
Mm.
it's my turn. It's my
Mm.
turn now. I want to live the life that I was looking at on TV, etc. Because also remember, even though there is black tax to quite a number of young people, but then the very same parents that suffered from the system didn't have the time to teach their children about finances, unfortunately, because they were working in the kitchens, they were working in the gardens, they were working in the factories, babetunga abanye babenza izicathulo, earning less than 2,000 at that time. Some were earning even less than 1,000 rands. So they didn't have the time to teach their kids of this maturity of how to deal with the money. So now the money is there, and many people don't know what to do with it. And there's a lot of influence from television, from social media, you know, popular media, of what we should look like and sound like when we have made it into our lives, and our careers have matured, or we've stepped into the door. So unlike other races, we could say they grew up, and there's also the term called old money. So they grew up in that. They grew up in the money. They grew up in the cars. They grew up in the trips that their parents could afford to take them on overseas trips. Whereas we didn't have that. So there is almost as if a certain race must play catch up in some instances. And then it then gets also into the element of why we find that there's people that are corrupt, why there's people doing fraud. You know, they're trying to get the money quick and fast. And you could also say it's street cred. So, do we have the maturity? I don't think that we do. Maybe some of us do, but there's a significant number of our age group that unfortunately do not have the maturity of dealing with the money, and the cycle is still going to go on and on.
The different generations you just spoke about, they are mothers and us. There's another generation. In fact, the generation that you are talking about is not our mothers. It's our grandmothers, the ones that used to work in the kitchens and the gardens and whatnot. Our mothers are teachers and nurses. I appreciated that generation because they knew how to handle finances. Oh, Gogo. Oh, Mama, they are the Tupperware generation.
Yeah, maybe
Tupperware
for
generation.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe for us, Q. Maybe yes, for us, our mothers are the teachers, are the nurses, are the policemen. For us, but there's, you know, I've got friends that unfortunately their mothers are not that. You know,
Yeah.
they are the ones that work for maybe the municipality, and they're the ones that collect our our trash. They sweep the streets, and they still exist even till today. Yes, even post 94, maybe there's more opportunities. But yeah, our mothers too were the kitchen girls and the garden boys, because they came from that system, and they were brought up in that system as well. That's why you find that a 30-year-old is called a born free because they were then the child that was born during the dawn of democracy. So
Mm.
yeah, I get your sentiment. Yes, our mothers were the nurses, were the teachers, but also again, if you look at it with binoculars or a magnifying glass, you will see that the salaries of the teachers back then and the salaries of nurses back then were not as much as now. I can tell with my mom, if she was able to testify here in this podcast, she would tell you how much her salary was when she became a nurse. For a good decade, it wasn't enough money for her to raise two kids, and that is why. And my brother is 41. I'm 33. Look at that gap. And she even said, I couldn't afford two kids at the same time. So yes, there were teachers, there were nurses, but how much were they earning at that time? They could only start affording cars much later in their professions. Actually, even closer to their retirement, they only started to afford cars. So hence why my point goes back to there's a race that is playing catch up, and that's why you find that financial maturity is a bit delayed in certain parts of our society.
Yeah, that's a good observation, actually. That's a very good observation. Bo, do you have a different opinion there? Or can I move on to my next question? I feel like we've been
No,
on this.
yeah, no, I think Unzuzo has covered me largely, but I want to talk about the facade that people put on social media, as well as your earlier point where you referred about what the community will say if they say that you're not doing certain things for your family. And I think for me, there's two things. The first thing is whenever you identify a need at home, it's very important to ask yourself if you can afford that. Will you be able to survive that month comfortably? I think
Yeah.
that's a very important question. Then the second part to it, what will people say? Some people call it abantu bazothini syndrome. Guys, people will always have something to say and they will always shift the goalpost. I mean, you can buy your mother a car, you can build a house, they will always have something to say. Even if, let's say, you are now this person who is very active on social media and you're dressing a certain type of way, they will always say something. What is important is, are you, as Qinsani, happy with how you are living and how you're spending your finances? I think that is very important. And we should also stay away from this mindset of trying to fit in. It's very important to stay in your lane and just understand your finances. That is very important. And I mean, we're living in a space now where there's a lot of financial education everywhere on social media. It's not something that you really need to have a friend who knows about these things to teach you about finances. But if you're really interested, it's something that you can learn on your own. But abantu bazothini, people will always talk, my friend.
Hmm. Wow, I think those are valuable insights for both myself, Nzuzo, and everybody else that is listening to this show right now. And I think we tend to forget that. We tend to forget that you still have, after payday, you still have the next 30 days to survive. And how you navigate that 30 days has a great impact on your overall health, especially mentally so. Because
Mm,
sometimes what we don't realize is there are periods where I have been broke in my life, where I was not doing well financially. I think both of you would have had those periods as well.
Mm.
And one of the things that we tend to experience during those times is I will give the portion wherever it has to be directed. And then I am left with this huge hole. And now I don't know how to navigate around it. And you find yourself you are constantly grumpy, number one, unaware of what the causality is. Number two, you struggle to sleep. And number three, other people fall into bad habits like drinking and overeating, like always wanting to snack on things. And such struggles or such challenges really especially financially related, they do lead to those abnormalities, and we just don't look into them as much as we should as a society, but more so as young men, because most of these things they fall on us young men. I'm not sure about women. I don't know what their context is, but I want to pass and I want to ask light questions now. I need to get my friends back. You guys sound like academics. We had said this is going to be a super chilled conversation, and now you sound like I'm talking to these professionals. I've got a question for you, Mqozi. Actually, let me start with Nzuzo. Nzuzo, I've got a question for you.
Why waqala ngami?
It's actually based on what you said
Okay.
on the use of social media. Do you think there should be a restriction on how we use social media? Do you think government should put a restriction?
No, I don't think there should be a restriction on social media usage. Social media is what it should be. I think society or us as people, as human beings, we need to monitor ourselves and what we do on social media. Social media is what it is. It's doing the purpose that it's supposed to be doing. Social media is meant to be bringing us closer, rather. And then we then decide to abuse it the way we abuse it. Like, look how what's happening on TikTok, what's happening on X. Social media is what it's meant to do. There's nothing that is wrong with social media. I guess it's us as the people to to then create a new status quo in terms of what is the purpose of social media to us, and let's create that space that social media becomes a positive tool for us as individuals, businesses, corporates, communities, you name it. You know, it's a very powerful tool. If it's used correctly, it does wonders. It does very, very good things. But then, unfortunately, anything that is in the disposal of human beings, it gets abused, unfortunately. Anything that you have too much of, it can be to your detriment. So no, there shouldn't be a restriction to it. We need to use it, um, um, and regulate our usage rather.
Um, would you say make the same argument about the use of alcohol and drugs in general?
Yeah, same argument again. I was also speaking to a colleague sometime because I'm in HR and I sometimes deal with cases of employees being intoxicated in the workplace, and sometimes we put some of these individuals in counseling sessions. We would try to correct the behavior. In some instances, they will go into disciplinary inquiries and they'll lose their job. So, and I even say in some of my sessions with employees that when you look at the advertisement of alcohol, alcohol is always associated with celebrating. You've never seen an advert of alcohol where people are crying, where people are stressed, and they go into the bar and they say, I want to have a drink, I had a hectic moment. Even if they do, it's always associated with something that is positive. You bought a new car, they're having champagne. So anything that is there, even with marijuana, weed, it's now legal because it is a substance that we people can consume. That it can cure some illnesses. So I would say the same. It's us human beings that abuse all of these items that are at our disposal. There's nothing wrong with having those. You can have as many taverns as there could be in one street. But why are they there? They're there because there's a demand. If there's
Hmm.
a demand from us, then there'll be fewer of them. They'll close down because there's no business. But
Hmm.
because they keep flocking there, then they flourish.
Well, granted, most things that you've said, I think I'm in agreement, partly. I immediately when you said that usually alcohol is portrayed in jubilant type of way. I think you're right. It's mainly advertised like that, but there are adverts, and I watch a lot of adverts. I love commercials. And there are commercials where a person be stressed and then they go to a bar and then they have Heineken or Savannah and all of a sudden they find themselves in a different room and then they're now dancing, you know.
Mm.
And in such commercials, it's advertised as a remedy to stressful situations. And everybody goes through stress, especially if you are in your adolescent years, perceived stress, as I call it, because
Mm.
people just be worried about that maths paper they are failing and whatnot, or a girlfriend has been taken by another guy, the likes of those. Uh, Up to your later ages. Excuse me. So I do think there is a mental play when you look at how alcohol is advertised, and I feel like the people that are behind these commercials are people that know very well how the human brain works. Similarly, so though, going to social media, I think you're right when you say that it is used in a manner that it is intended to be used. But I think we can agree that between the time that we first saw the introduction of social media, and we don't know when that is, but we grew up social media not being what it is today, up to now, uh, I think the rate at which it has grown and how it has taken over is one of those unforeseen outcomes that everybody just got a shock to, right? And I think looking at that, one could then say perhaps government has to put strict measures on how social media is utilized, or who should be utilizing social media in any case, and what kind of content can be allowed and disallowed within the context of South Africa, if we are talking about South Africa. I know Australia is they've enforced a policy that says if you are under 16 years old, you can't use the likes of TikTok, social media, basically. And I know it's one thing to have policies, and it's another to have things seriously implemented effectively. But I really do think that we need to be heading towards that direction. But my
Mm.
case is and I say this because there's a lot of young ones at home, and what hurts me the most is every single time I go there, I bring them books without fail. They would read only if I say there is going to be money given to them at the end of the day, which I enjoy because I don't like the idea of giving free money without people working for it. What they have to do is to tell me stories that they get from the books. So that's more like a feedback session. But I do see them spending a lot of time on smart TVs, on TikTok. There's TikTok on TV, funny enough, or it would be TikTok posted on YouTube, those short videos. Then I also do see the older generation, which is highly surprising for me, greatly consuming social media. Teachers in classrooms, we've seen this. They even post our children on their social media pages. It frustrates me to the core. Uh, we see our parents at home, in our homes, using TikTok at 3 a.m. A person would be on TikTok. Like, when does it ever come to an end? And I've observed also, uh, people's speech tends to be delayed now. And this observation is with people that are always on their cell phones. The speech is delayed. The thinking seems to be lowered in some way or degraded, whatever the term is. I I just need a scientific study to pin this thing on. I know there's been some comments around how our mental span is getting reduced by the use of social media and whatnot. But I think I'm experiencing it firsthand or vicariously because it's through observations from other people, right? And on that basis, and if my assumptions are true, I would say yes, we really actually have to get some laws enforced and systems put in place so that
Yeah.
people don't at least spend more than 2 hours a day on social media. I think would be a healthier society.
I think so too, Q. But then again, the government is not in our homes. Hence why I'm saying that social media is what it should be. But then who is the user? Who is the consumer? Yes, the government can put in policies to say a 16-year-old cannot be on TikTok, or they can put in a regulation to say you can only use 2 hours of TikTok in a day. However, they are not in our homes. And then you look into that, if they put in such policies or implement such laws, there's going to be your economic forums saying that we can't advertise. People are not getting into our adverts in time because they would have used up the allowance of the day to be on TikTok. So it's going to be a very difficult um, law to implement or policy to implement. But I think for me, we are the people. We have the power to say how much can we consume of this and how much can we use of this tool. Because even the examples that you've made yourself, you are saying it's our mothers, it's our brothers, it's our kids. So it's in the home that's where the problem is. So then we're now speaking into what is the home structure like? What happens to our values? What happened to our morals that we say we're coming home, have time to sit, we watch generations. Remember before 8 o'clock was always 8 o'clock, where the street would be empty because we all have run to go watch generations. And after generations, and Ken is on 14 and Loco. It was a time because we had that family structure. Then what happened to it? So there's a lot of dynamics to unpack to it. But again, it still boils down to us as the consumers, because we, at the end of the day, determine where the industries are going, where social media is going with us, where they're taking us to. It's exactly with how you see now with the motor industry. There's a lot of compact SUVs that have been sold to us as consumers, because there's probably a time where people believed that having a big car meant a bigger status. But unfortunately, many people couldn't afford a big car, a car with a wheel on its back. But then the industry said, let's start making what we call compact SUVs so that people can start buying them. You see, many of these compact SUVs, a big car, but with the engine of a small car. So it's us as the consumers at times that we determine where the next revolution will come from.
Okay, granted. Last word on that. If China could say we're banning TikTok, there's not going to be any use of TikTok. I believe any other country can do it as well. That's my final word. Mqo, I'm not sure if you want to weigh in on that question.
Yeah, thanks, Q. I think on the use of alcohol, definitely there can be regulations that can be implemented there or enforced. I mean, I've worked abroad before in a country where the use of alcohol is restricted, and if you look at the different statistics there in terms of crime, in terms of abuse, etc., they are literally low. And you hardly saw people walking around drunk. You hardly saw that boy from next door beating up his girlfriend because they are drunk, etc. So definitely, I do feel like the government can do something when it comes to the regulation of alcohol. I'm also thinking back to the times of COVID, where it was not easy to access alcohol, and there were statistics that were published where there was a decline in areas of abuse, in areas of crime, etc., and even car accidents due to drinking and driving. So I'm for that. I'm for that. And then in terms of social media, look, if used correctly, social media is a good tool. I do agree with what you guys have said. But there's a very thin line between one using social media correctly and using it incorrectly. And like Unzuzo said, if we were to enforce the use of social media, it will be very, very difficult. Maybe it's just time that, these growing kids get educated about the use of social media. And if maybe there are any consequences on the bad use, they should be aware what may happen. So alcohol restriction, I'm for it. Social media, I'm in the border.
Okay. We will carry on the social media conversation after we are done with this recording. But also, I'd love to have an expert. This is just us being us on this platform right now. But thank you so much for weighing in there. That wasn't your soft question, by the way. That was Nzuzo's question. Your question is coming now. Please brace yourself. Mqo, or what did that woman call you? Mqozi.
I,
Mqozi. Would you be someone's Ben 10?
Yo,
never. I don't think I'll ever be someone's Benton. The way I respect older women, yeah, it won't work. It just won't work. I don't think I'll be someone's Benton. And people actually do this for different reasons. You do get people who are not really financially stable, or who lack on something, or who want certain favors, and they end up resorting to such things. And only to find out that they don't really want to do it, but circumstances force them to do so. But personally, I'll never be a Benton.
Okay, granted. But what if situations force you to actually go into a position where you're like, I think I could actually be better off if I got that 1,500 from that woman or wherever.
I think I'm someone who goes all in when I'm doing something, and if my heart is not there, it will just not work, and it will show to the next person.
Okay, I
So
can attest to that.
even in my desperate times, I don't think I'll be able to pull that off.
I like that. I like that. Is it? This is the generation of men that we actually need. Men that are firm, that know Uti, this is not going to take them anywhere, because such things are only short-lived, and then after that, the damage becomes greater than what you would have actually experienced had you not even
Yeah,
gotten yourself in that kind of situation. I
yeah.
don't want to make
No,
examples, but
no, that's true. I think just to add on that, I know of people who have been in those situations where they are parents and they're dating someone very old. And they tend to become very dependent on their older partners because they are so used to getting, and they even forget that they can be able to actually go and look for a job. They can be able to go and study. I do understand that in South Africa there's a scarcity of jobs, but some people just start relaxing, knowing that there is this person who will always provide for me. And they then tend to be controlling. Like you get the female partner controlling the person who they are providing to. I think money in general, money is power. If people provide for you, they have this thing that they can control you.
That was your first soft question. The second soft question, Mbo, and I'm not going to ask this question, Kunzuzo, because I know he does this all the time. Do you ever look at a person and be like, they're dressed very nicely, brands, nice labels, but they probably brought that on credit? Does it ever happen to you? Do you ever think like that?
I think it really depends. If it's the first time I'm seeing that person, I wouldn't think that they probably bought it on credit, because I don't know their financial background, etc. But if I know that you have been just an ordinary person and all of a sudden uvuka ngeGucci or a Louis Vuitton, then I'll question if you can afford, or if it's even real, because there's a lot of fakes now. So I'll think about those things, of which it might be a wrong mentality because we don't know each other's pockets, but it will depend. If I know you and all of a sudden uvuka ngeGucci, then I'll start questioning, where is this coming from?
Okay, and do you have a thing for brands in general?
No. So when I buy something, I buy it because it's nice and I buy it because I can afford it. Affordability being the first thing.
Okay, last question related to this. What's the most ridiculous amount you've spent on a clothing item? Just because you wanted to stand out.
Uh, I bought a clothing item, not because I wanted to stand out, but because I loved it. And I think it was a shoe that was about 6,500 rand
Yo,
when I was abroad. So, because I loved it and I could afford it.
You lie.
Yes. I didn't say 60. I said 6,500.
I still,
But
still.
but that is not a lot of money, guys. It's
Well,
not a
I
lot
know.
of money.
Yeah, carry on.
No, I'm saying it's not a lot of money. And I was very happy that I bought that shoe. But
Not a
days
lot of,
later, sorry?
not a lot of money.
No. But days later, I then had to ask myself, was this a wise financial decision? And the
It
answer
made it.
was
I
no.
suppose it made you happy at the time. So
It,
uh, you can't cry over spilled milk already. If it's spilled, it's spilled, and you're left with the shoe, and you loved it. So, how long did you get to keep the shoes? Do you still have them?
I still have them, and
Do you
they
still
still
love them as
look
much?
proper. I
Okay.
do, but they are a constant reminder of think very hard before you spend a lot of money on a shoe.
Would you do it again?
I'll think very hard about it.
I will respond to this question if you guys want me to respond to it. But Nzuzo, what's the most ridiculous amount you've spent on an item, a clothing item?
Well,
Well, not a
definitely,
clothing item, any item, really.
definitely not 6,000 on shoe, but I think the most that I've spent, it would have been a suit because I was going to a wedding. It was just under 5,000. I think it was just 6,800. That's the most that I spent. It was a very, very nice black, kind of like tuxedo suit that I wore at my cousin's wedding last year. That is the most I've spent on maybe a clothing item, like one single item. Otherwise, yeah, I'm like affordability definitely is number one. The practicality of the item is definitely what I look into. If something looks good and does what it should do, yeah, I can spend a decent amount of money. But then I'm also the type of person that if, for example, I don't like to mention brands, but maybe brand A has a shoe for 6,000 rand, and I go to brand B and there's a shoe for 800 rands. They feel relatively comfortable. I can run in them. I can stand in them. They feel the same. Will I buy the one for 6,000? Nah, I'll go for the one for 800 rands.
Okay. Nzuzo is all about convenience. I know this for a fact about you. You're almost the same as me. It's just like how we go shopping for cars. We never really look for something that is like, oh, this is the sportiest version and not and not. For us, this is a conversation we've had behind closed doors, well, off air. Um, to say for us, vehicles are just for convenience. We don't even know vehicles. We don't even like vehicles. That's one thing we have in common. Mqo loves cars. And when he shops for a car, my goodness. I mean, anyway, I said I would respond to that question myself. For starters, I want to start by confessing, Juzo.
Mm.
I love suits quite a lot. But I've made peace with the fact that I would never buy a suit in South Africa ever. I I am happy to spend 15,000 rands on a suit,
Yeah.
a good suit, but I know I would not find it here. That's number one, and that's why you will not see me wearing a suit. Uh, I have spent quite a lot of money um, sometime last year, and I needed to see Andrea Bocelli. The ticket was 9,300 rands for that concert. When I looked back, I had to drive back from Cape Town to Port Elizabeth. I had a vehicle and then I dropped it in PE. When I was thinking about what I had just done, I was so numb. I was very numb. And I remember a few days after that, I was like, what the actual fudge have you just done? Off air, I will tell you how I worked around that. But let's move on. Uh, I think there's a question that we don't often ask ourselves as friends. We ask it, but we don't ask it meaningfully. And I want to take this opportunity to ask each one of you, starting with you, Mvo. I want you to be honest with me, like be sincerely honest. How are you?
How am I? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay in a sense that work is okay, family is okay, finances are okay. Guys, I'm not saying I'm rich, please. But yeah, even my relationship with God is so good these days, and I think it brings me so much fulfillment. So hence I'm saying I'm really in a good space. I'm spiritually charged. Family is good. Yes, there are things here and there, but I'm good, in a good space.
Okay. Okay, that's lovely. I'm happy to hear that. And Nzuzo, how are you?
I'm happy. I'm happy. And why I'm saying I'm happy is because there is no issues in any part of my life currently. Um, if I was a diagram, I would call myself a pie graph, and it's full, 100% full. Got good friends, parents are healthy, my brother is okay. I'm working. Work is work. Work will always be work. With me, work is always work. When I leave work, I leave work. My health is good. I'm not sick anyway. So I'm happy. I'm very happy at this time of my life. There's absolutely no issues. I wouldn't say that there's somewhere where it lacks. So I'm good. I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Okay, I love that. I love that. I mean, I don't want to have friends, and abangani bami say that they're fine and whatnot and whatnot, but 5 days down the line, I hear that they've committed suicide. Gents, please never do that. I beg you. The struggle that men are experiencing these days, which is not often spoken about, is real, and we need to talk about things. If something is chowing us internally, please. You saw with Jaden, who just also switched off the light. But I do see him though indicating that he wants to take a break because we are going to finish this podcast.
No,
I think that's one
no,
thing I was clear about. Once we enter this space, there's no escape. Um,
no,
but I
no,
can
no.
grant you a break if you need a break, and then we come back.
I actually don't want to take a break. I want to ask, how are you?
Ooh. I was low key praying that you wouldn't ask me that question. Um, well, how does one answer that question, really? Um, well, for starters, I think I am content. I'm content with where I am in terms of how I've grown over the past years. Career wise, I think I am comfortable. There are some challenges, well, not really challenges, but there are some frustrations associated with the career itself. But I think I'm one of the few lucky people out there who find themselves doing the kind of jobs that they seriously enjoy. I don't think I would trade it for anything. I am grateful for the family that I have. NgesiZulu, kunesisho esinokuhlangana njengembumba. Umndeni engisuka kuwo uhlangene njengembumba. And that is actually something that keeps me going even at the lowest of my times. I had hopes that at this age I would be married and that I would have 2 children. That hasn't happened. Now, with everything that I've ever dreamed for myself, I've achieved exactly at the time that I anticipated to reach my dreams. But I don't know why this is not happening. And I do think about it quite a lot. But it's not something that is necessarily pressing me down, but I think it is a cause for concern at the moment.
Yeah.
So, now that you're done with me, I want to know, when was the last time that a friend told you that they were struggling without you guys having to make a joke about it? Nzuzo, I'll start with you.
A few weeks ago, I did have someone who told me they are not in a good space emotionally and financially. Yeah.
Mqo?
It was last year where someone was really, really struggling emotionally, dealing with grief. It was really not nice. Parallel to that, there were also issues of finances as well. But yeah, I think that is really where, as a friend, you just need to lend an ear and assist where you can. Sometimes the assistance might not be like something tangible, but
Mm.
just being there, listening to the person. I think for me, that's what I give. And if I can assist, then I'm able to assist if I can afford.
Yeah. I suppose the question that I would have for you as a follow-up, Mqo, is do you think that your friend would have came to you if they were only dealing with the grief part of their challenges?
Yeah, absolutely, Q. I think I understood the relationship that my friend had with the deceased. And we are open. We talk about anything. One thing that I always allow my friends to do is to be vulnerable. I wouldn't judge you for crying. Because at the end of the day, I understand that you are human, and you ought to cry if you need to. I think we have this, well, people call it toxic masculinity, where people try to hold things to themselves because you need to to present yourself as this strong man. But at the end of the day, we have feelings. We are people. And once you open the door to your friends, to be vulnerable, to cry in front of you, to open up, then it really becomes easy for them to reach out to you with anything.
Okay, that is lovely. I don't know if I would qualify that as toxic masculinity, but I would definitely say it is self-destructive because holding back tears, especially during times of grief, is something we shouldn't do. At least that is what we learn in psychology. Nzuzo,
Yeah.
when was the last time a friend told you they were struggling?
Um, yeah, a couple of weeks ago, yeah, someone did reach out to me that they're not okay, both financially and emotionally. Yeah, they did reach out to me. I think for them as well, it also stems from their career not picking up. So it is also affecting their mental health. Yeah.
Why is it that people come to us when they've got financial challenges? I always find this hard to grapple with. Most of the time, when people come to us for help, it's not because they are struggling to sleep or because they're not feeling well and whatnot. It's always money related. I
Mm.
just, how do you feel about that?
I think sometimes people come to you because, or come to us, um, if you're a person that doesn't complain about money, people will assume that your finances are well, you're flourishing financially. So then you become a magnet. You attract that because you don't complain about money. You really come across as a person who's struggling. Your car, you still maintained it, you pay for petrol, you service it all the time, your house is clean, you've got running water, you've got electricity, you've got everything, your clothes are clean, you can get new clothes. So then a person who's looking at you from a distance, even if it's a friend, assumes that unemali lo,
Okay.
unemali.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to think about your friends, and this is one of those light questions. I want you to think about the people you regard as close friends. I know you may have friends. I've got three circles of friends. The ones that would be in your most inner circles are the ones I want you to think about. Um, and I want you to tell me that if you went completely silent, who among them do you think would come to your rescue or would come knocking on your door to check up on you?
I definitely know, Q, you definitely would knock on my door or you will call me. And definitely the friends that I spend time with in Durban as well. Um, you know what? Even not even funny enough, even because I still hang out and in contact with my high school friends, people that I went to high school with. This is now 16 years ago because I'm still in contact with them. We still meet and we still. So yeah, they would. Yeah. A couple of
Okay.
people, probably up to 5 people.
Up to 5 people.
Yeah.
Then you've got good friends. You've got very, very good friends. Mqozi, what about you?
Mqozi. um, I think when I was in varsity, I made really good friends who are literally like brothers now. These are friends that I share everything with. And these are people that even if I can go silent for 2 days, I mean it, like 2 days, they will send a text or call and ask, "Are you okay? What is happening?" But yeah, those are the people. I mean, I do the same to them. I think we have that kind of relationship. We do understand that we are living in a society that's very busy. Our careers are very demanding, but that check in here and there just helps to vent a bit. So yeah, I do have friends that will actually call and check up on me.
Okay, that's interesting. Um, I salute you guys for the kind of network of friends you've established for yourselves. I don't think it comes as easily, but I had to reflect on this and think about it in my own context. And I was just thinking, I know I live far from Earth. I live in my own little space where nobody else exists. And I try to locate myself in a space where I am conveniently reachable and ask myself who would actually show up. I know Nzuzo has showed up for me when I mistakenly had edibles and landed in hospital. It's a story for another day. It's a very, very, very funny story to people listening to me telling the story, even though it was devastating at the time. Um, but I also do think that other friends that would really come through are my friends in the Wolf Pack group. Those would be my primary school friends. We've got a group called the Wolf Pack. There's about 6 of us, and we check on each other from time to time. We are like sisters and brothers, basically. I know for a fact that those people would come through for me, such that when we've got events in Makaya Gete, we always make contributions, number one, and number two, at least two members of the pack would be represented in whatever is happening. So I know for a fact that they too would count. Ozzy, I'm thinking about you if you would or would not. I just know that you are one person who, when you have to show up, you will show up. But I'm not sure if you would voluntarily just go and check up on me if I was to be quiet for like a week or so. But you definitely are a person who doesn't say no when one is calling for help. I remember when you almost broke my knee
I
with the washing machine. You literally had to drive from Palito to Durban just so you could help me carry my washing machine to the apartment where I was staying at the time. And
and
yes,
can you just say it was a mistake?
I mean I'm still battling. My knee is half injured thanks to
Chief,
to that occurrence.
Chief, I drove all the way from Palito to come and assist you.
And I love you for that. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah, you've rescued me quite much, Yazi. There was a point where you actually gave me a bed when I first
Ngiyakubuka
moved
nje.
to Durban. You gave me a bed, and yeah, that was I treasure that bed. Um,
I
I,
will.
I,
So the delivery truck that I gave you was going to Mqozi's house.
Yes, yes. You remember that delivery truck? So both of you made a contribution, actually. So actually, the person. Do you remember the person that came to get the bed?
Uh-huh.
He lives right opposite Nzuzo's house. Like literally, like this. It's Nzuzo's
Oh,
house, then
okay.
their house.
Oh, nice.
So yes, I don't know what went down on that bed before I got it, Nzuzo. But I'm grateful that I had a bed.
That bed was in my prayer room, Q.
What happens in your prayer room?
It's just a
Why do you need
space.
a bed in your
It,
prayer room?
it's remember at the time I was staying in a two-bedroom apartment,
Hmm.
and one was my main bedroom. The other one, I used it as the prayer room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no way I'm going to I'm moving from this. There's no way I'm going to allow you guys to tap out without talking about relationships, intimate relationships, because I know if I ask to have a session with you again, it may take us another 50 years. Just a disclaimer to those watching and listening. We planned this podcast how many months ago? And I'm sure it's coming to fruition because we are all under one roof right now. But I want to know about your relationship matters. You guys, I feel like we've got this unspoken policy that exists amongst ourselves that we don't share about our partners. We don't update each other much about relationships. When we do, we talk about things at a higher level, such that I don't know who you've dated, Mqo. I don't know who you've dated, Nzuzo. At least I would know when they become your exes because you always need a shoulder to cry on, right? Like right now, I know Nzuzo is in a what now 3 year relationship. You go. I don't know whether you're dating or not, but I don't know your partner's names. That's what I'm talking about. So I want to know just light question. What's the major red flag for you when somebody is when you're in a relationship or when maybe it's still during the courtship stage? Oh,
Dishonesty.
ha.
Um, yes. I think for me, if you are not honest about even the smallest things, it means you can even be dishonest about the biggest things, and it becomes a habit with other people. So the moment I see that that is happening, I'll probably address it, and if I see that it continues, peace.
Damn. But at what stage do you get to see that someone is dishonest?
It really depends, Q. It can be like at the early stage of the relationship, whilst you're still courting each other. Maybe whilst you then know each other and you're familiar with each other, you can know each other there. But I mean, I can't really explain what it can be a lot of examples. You just know when someone is dishonest to you, and if you can prove it, then you're probably right.
Okay. Okay. I'll take that. What about you, Nzuzu?
It's the same. Dishonesty breaks everything. It breaks the trust. It breaks the chemistry. Yeah, man. I do. Dishonest. Oh, hey, no.
Okay. Uh and I
Once. Hey, it doesn't have to happen twice. Once.
Ah,
yeah, you're a bitch. I suppose that is what they would call you in the streets. Um you don't want to hear my response to this. And I say this because it doesn't even have to get to a point where we sit. It comes way before that. But because none of you have asked me the question back, so I will move to my next question. And
No, but you haven't given us the opportunity to.
uh, I mean, would you like to know, or can I move to the next question?
I'd love to know.
Disclaimer: it is freezing cold in Dalstrom right now.
Very.
I think it's about 4 degrees Celsius. Mqo is dying. Nzuzo is in front of a heater. I'm lucky because I'm in front of a heater as well. But I do think that we need to wrap up because we don't
Yeah.
want you to be frozen. But my response to that question, assuming that this is somebody that I like, and then we start talking, and then I get to see how they reason and how they view the world. It sort of like becomes an instant deciding moment for me. I could either say, yes, I'm going to continue with this conversation, or it ends after this date, or whatever setting would be in at that point in time. I've learned not to give people much of my airtime if I see that stars are not aligning. And you can easily tell from the very first interaction that you have with a person. But also, I get frustrated quite a lot when I'm with a person and they talk a lot about themselves. Yo, Jesus Christ. That for me is just a complete turn off. Like, I don't give a flying fish who you are and how you may be known in society. It just turns me completely off. Such that I was in a conversation with someone, I think yesterday morning or the day before, and they said 45 minutes into our conversation, I just Googled you and I realized you're a doctor. I didn't know you're a doctor. When you introduced yourself, why didn't you say that you're a doctor? And I said, that's not who I am. Again, I took it back to my family and my community. I'm never seen as a doctor. I'm never seen as this person who is tied to his professional standing or his accolades, right? And amongst myself, none of you call me call me doctor whatsoever. So for me, I think it's just important for a person not to see themselves as the most important being and always talk about themselves. And I think that is always people that like to talk about themselves have a habit of talking badly about others, and that's another turn off for me. How you speak about others, sort of like warns me. It signals that you're a person that I need to shy away from because you're a bad person when you speak badly about others. At least that is how I was taught. Anyway, I will pause there. Do you have a follow-up question?
No. No follow-up question, sir.
Okay. Nzuzo, you sorted.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. And then a question I asked you earlier. A question I asked you earlier. Would you say friends with your ex?
Who are you asking?
Well, I'm asking both of you. You can go first.
Friends with your ex? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Definitely me, no.
Well, the right question comes here.
Why?
Of course. Why not?
Ex. The word suggests ex. Ex. Eliminated.
Ah,
That's what it means.
it
So,
usually comes with an E before the X.
yes. E stands for eliminated.
Whatever.
And
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And the X means you are crossed out.
Okay. That's how you take it. Fine. Mqozi, can I come to you?
Well, for me, we don't have to be friends, but let us be cordial. I can't be a close friend with an ex. No, I can't.
Well, maybe not close friends, but can you be friends?
We can be cordial, but we can't be friends.
Can we go out and have tea in the mornings together from time to
Yeah, of course. But there will be boundaries in the conversations as well.
Of course.
what should those boundaries be? Like, we don't talk about you and I kind of situation, but you can tell me about your relationships.
We don't talk about what happened. We don't talk about our current relationships, but we just talk about life in general. I don't give a buffering face because I know there's gonna be another
Like, this
question.
is one of those moments because okay, fine.
I
Um,
think I think for me, Q, we have different definitions of friendships, right? And there's people that you coexist with. So with an ex, you can coexist. I mean, I don't speak to many. Okay, not that I have many exes, but I don't speak to. I hardly speak to the people I've dated. I hardly really. But if maybe they call, I'll answer and then we'll have a conversation.
hmm, hmm. Okay, I'll give you that. Uh, my good friends, whom I dearly love, and who are in this devastatingly freezing house. I'm actually dying myself. This heater is not helping. Uh,
Yeah.
for the benefit
Cool.
of the listeners and the people watching, the heaters we are talking about, I'm literally lifting it up, but it's on. It's these heaters. They are not hot at all. Yeah, they just get lukewarm. Apparently, you have to dress them with a blanket or something in order for them to to work perfectly.
That's a
So,
hazard.
uh, second last question. Which of the three would you rather choose as a partner? Oh, you've got 5 seconds. Someone who is gorgeous but has terrible texting habit. I'm that person. Someone who is a 10 out of 10 but still like talks to, oh, sorry. Someone who is a 10 out of 10 but still talks to their ex as a friend. Or someone who is perfect but their friends absolutely hate you.
Number three, the last one.
Someone who's perfect, but their friends hate you. Why?
I'm not dating their friends.
So you date them?
No, no. I'll date the person if the person's friends hate me and the person like me, then we'll date.
Yo, I find that to be very risky. Wouldn't you say, Nzuzo?
No, but
Oh, I
why?
completely agree with Mqo.
Ningenaphi endabeni zethu sobabili?
Yeah, in all of my relationships before, I've never been concerned about what the friends think of me or if they like me or they don't like me. In some of the relationships, I've never even met their friends. So
Well, we can assume that they like you, but this is in an instance that you know that these people hate you.
it's fine.
I think if your partner really likes you and knows and understands you, can
Hi,
you hear
guys.
me?
Okay, you froze there for a second. I don't know what happened.
Oh, sorry. I think it's a network. It's a network issue. So I was saying, in summary, if your partner's friends don't like you, it really doesn't matter. It's about what your partner thinks about you. That's it.
My good people, your thinking and my thinking are totally misaligned. I don't date you as an individual. The social structures that make you
Oi.
form part of our relationships.
Hey, Bobby.
I
No.
I'm not joking. I'm freaking not joking here. It's like when I get married, the day I get married, I will, I would not be in a situation where I know that the sisters or the aunts, brothers don't like me, because I'm gonna have to deal with a lot of things there. I don't think I would be able to do that. If I were to choose, so Nzuzo, are you saying you're also choosing number three there?
But you
Someone
said
who's
friends. You
perfect,
didn't say
but
family.
sorry.
You said friends. You didn't say family.
I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, I can restrict it to friends. They've got a major influence on one's decision-making processes. Most people are not like the three of us, by the way, where we get. Did you try again? What was that? Oh, I said sorry, so my phone picked it up. Um, most people are not like the three of us, where we don't overshare about our relationships. Some people have meetings to talk about partners, right? And those people, they have a great influence on your relationship,
Yeah.
especially if you're, yeah, especially if your partner is a person who doesn't stretch their brain muscle as much as they should when they get info from a third party or an opinion from a third party.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think maybe me and Bo, and I don't know if me answering this way, he Mqo will also agree. But I think when we answered the question, when we chose the third option was because he's perfect or they are perfect. He or she is perfect. So if they are perfect and their friends don't like us, then it doesn't matter. So if the person is perfect, that means they love you. The relationship is perfect between me and them. Ukuthi abakamakoti noma abakamkhwenyana bangithanda or abangithandi, it really doesn't matter. But then if you want then to go into the details of ukuthi he's influenced or she's influenced by abangani bakhe, then no, that person is definitely not perfect.
Okay, okay, granted. And also, people may hate you for the wrong reasons or because they're misinformed, right? So
Yeah.
I could take it for that reason. I wonder if I could. Hmm. Well, I don't mind my partners talking about their exes. I mean, I talk about my exes as and when needed. So I don't think I would ever take offense if that were the case, unless, of course, I was compared to the other, especially in a negative light. I'd be like, Nondombi, nange umnyango, out. Just like that. Funny enough, I met with my uncle Lungani a few months ago, and he told me that he doesn't see me getting married because he doesn't think that I've got that tolerance for the slightest of things. He doesn't think I'd be able to keep up with a woman for a prolonged period, and I
If
think he's mistaken. I sorry, I think he's mistaken because I find myself to be a very soft person when I'm in a relationship. I think his understanding of me is limited in that ungazi nje from home, seeing me interact with ingane, and mainly I think this is something I've done which I shouldn't have done. I embody who I am at work sometimes, mangisekhaya, because I also work from home, right? So, and this is one thing that Nzuzo has warned about quite a number of times, actually. So, yeah, I do think I'm soft-hearted. Uh, you may or may not agree with me there, Mko. I know Nzuzo is not going to agree with me. I can see that look. Okay. very, 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 very. Actually, not very last question. Second last question. Mqo, how I wish I could mute Nzuzo's earpieces or whatever audio output he's using. When are you getting married?
ngolesibili. I'm joking.
Well, let's see.
When I find the right girl, I'll get married.
What is the right one? How does the right one look like? I now want to help you find the right one.
My friend, I don't think you'll be able to help me. Basically, you're asking me qualities of the person I want to marry. Beautiful. That's one, yeah. Beautiful.
Ubabazile, when I said a deal breaker for me is somebody who is not visually appealing.
No, listen, I'm not ready with my list.
Okay.
So if the person is okay, like if the face cut is just okay, I'll settle
Face cut
with
is
her.
important.
Well, I mean, we have kids to make, so
Exactly. Procreation.
Yeah, but someone who is honest, someone who, you know how much I love my family, so someone who will really understand that I'm very much of a family person, and someone who is smart. Well, smart can be broad, and someone who will respect me. I really care about how people relate with me, how people talk to me. I think that is very important to me. The moment you lose that, then we have a very big problem. But Sige, I have been praying very hard, and kunomoyana okhona ofaka indandatho namasudi engakusho nje ukuthi thungisani.
As my sister would do, as my sister would have it. Ching ching ching. Click click click. Oh, you want to click 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 click.
Guys, I'm joking about the Tungsani part before you get too excited.
I hope your mom sees this. I really hope your mom sees this. I would love to send just this piece to her. I want to say on that part of how people treat you, I fully agree because you are not an egotistic somebody. You are very humble and you treat people with the utmost respect. I wish everybody that knows you at a personal level could get an invitation to your house and get to experience how you treat your visitors. Like that's just one thing that we haven't spoken about, which stands out for me, to me rather, about you. I mean, we interact much of the time and not, but having spent some time with you in your own space, I'm like, damn, this person doesn't fake who they portray themselves to be. They're really this person, right? I know with other people, it's just their egos. They would say they would not be with a person who interacts with them in a particular way, simply because they are people that love control and they are full of a stinky ego. Nzuzo, I move to you. You tell me. Ushadwa nini mfowethu?
Akwaziwa. Angifuni nje nokunikhohlisa abaziwa. Uthi ushadwa nini? Angikwazi nokuphendula lo mbuzo.
Ihora lomzuzu asilazi.
Hayi asilazi. Hayi yabona njengamanje nje akwaziwa noma iy'nkomo ziyangena noma ziyaphuma. Kodwa kungashadwa noma yinini.
Hawu suka nini madoda? Ukhona usekhona? Yes, ukhona usekhona. You are in a 3-year relationship now.
Asazi ubani othenga ku-3-year relationship. Asazi. Hey, yazi Nkosi yami indaba zabantu. Ungwengu.
Okay, you know what? On that note, ngicela ungabe ngisayqhubeka le ndaba.
No, we are not. We need to hear when you are getting married.
Well, uh, I am almost certain that at the age of 35, I am getting married. I'm turning 32 this year, in fact, next month. And in 3 years' time, I think I will be walking down the aisle. But I anticipate that I would have gotten my firstborn by that time.
And you know what the Bible says, right?
About? It says many
About
things.
about marriage and sex and stuff.
Which part
I'm
specifically?
just putting it out there. Just go and read, and then we'll have a conversation,
Which part specifically
my
so
dear
that I
friend.
respond accordingly?
We'll get into a Bible study after this session.
Or were you alluding to the sex before marriage part of the Bible?
I'm just saying that there is something about sex and marriage in the Bible, so you must just go and read.
You are forcing me into asking you another question.
No, but this question was about you. Why is it coming to me?
No. Your comment there has led me to wanting to ask you this question.
Okay.
Are you a virgin?
How
I don't I don't have a child.
No, you don't have a child. Are you a virgin?
I don't have a child.
Have you had sex before in your life, Mqozi?
I don't have a child.
I don't know what that means. I know you don't have a child, but that's not what I'm asking. Have you had
I
sex in your life before? Yes or no?
I've read a Bible before.
So have we. But have you had sex in your life?
I took the Bible's instructions about sex.
Which are?
You'll hear about them after this section
No, no,
where
no, no. I want
when we
this
have our
here
Bible
now.
study.
Remember, I said I'm going to ask certain questions and I require responses to them. This is one of those.
No, but I'm telling you, I don't have a child.
Yeah, I know that. But have you had sex? It's a yes or
My
a no
friend,
answer.
it's freezing
Question.
here. It's
And that's
freezing
why I
here.
need you to answer. I need you to answer fast. Have you had
I do
sex?
not
Yes.
have I do not have a child. That's my
And
response.
Nzuzo, I suppose you're gonna be here the entire night even if Mlo is not coming clean. I mean,
Well,
you brought this.
my device is on 10% now, so that's beyond my
My
control.
mine is at 2%.
So it might shut down.
I know Mlo's is not at 2%, but I must say I'm highly dissatisfied that you're not responding to that question. And you choosing not to answer tells me that you've had sex. So don't preach to me about things that you don't do.
Your opinion, my friend.
It is my opinion based on the
Can you
information that you've given and the information you've decided to withhold. So
can you
that's
prove
on
it?
my conclusion.
Can you prove that I have had sex before?
kumele niyohlolwa-ke manje emva kwasession. Ayingeke,
No,
guys.
no, angiz ukuyihlola. But I cannot not unprove. English is biting me now.
It's cold.
Is that why it's biting me? Can I prove that you've had sex before? How many of your exes do I know?
Ah, yeah.
Should I do mine? I do research for a living.
As we move to the next question.
Thank you very much. The last question. I'm
Why
joking.
is
I would
this
never do
question
that.
not going to Nzuzo?
It did go
And
to
why are
Nzuzo.
you no the sex and virgin
Oh
question?
no,
Why is
Nzuzo
it not
didn't
going
bring
to?
up the Bible. Leave my friend out of this.
Oh, okay.
Thank
I
you.
You
withdraw.
asked for it.
Keda. Well, and my response is I don't have a child.
Well, you could be infertile. Anyway, uh, if you could go back to the day you turned 18 and you had just 30 seconds to warn your younger self about the lies or the trap of adulthood, what's the one thing you would tell him to prepare himself for? Nzuzo.
Yeah, not to trust people and don't take people's word. I think
Do you trust us as friends?
I trust you guys as my friends, but I think as an 18-year-old, because right now I'm speaking as an 18-year-old, um, I believed that when someone says, "Oh, I'll look out for you. I'll do this for you," I'm always going to be here for you, all of that. Nah, don't believe that. Yeah.
Okay. And why is that? Why must we lose the element of trust?
Um, I wouldn't say we must lose the element of trust entirely, um, but we must just learn to be self-sufficient, um, and understand that life should go on with or without. And why I'm saying that is
Okay.
because I think from the age of 18 till now, there has been disappointments along the way. So, yeah.
Well, you were supposed to speak to your 18-year-old self, right? Now, Mqo, I want you to speak to your 18-year-old self. What would you say to that younger version of yourself?
Okay, firstly, the younger version was very handsome. So I'll say, I'm joking. So it will be basically, do you? Don't adhere to society expectations or standards. Live your life and make yourself very happy.
Do you think you'd be happy with that decision now?
Come again?
If you took that advice as an 18-year-old, do you think you'd be happy with that decision now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I'm a person who doesn't like to live by society standards. And I'm a very happy person. Yes, there has been mistakes that I've made in life, due to pressure of some sort, but I'm wiser, I'm older, I am happier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much to both of you. You've been an amazing, I almost said audience. You've been amazing guests. This has been a very insightful conversation. I learned certain things about you guys, which I was not aware of before we started this episode. And I'm still going to question you about those off air. And I know I'm going to get more meat from you. And it's so interesting for me, and I consider it's a great privilege to have friends like yourselves. I suppose also linking this to the title of this podcast, or one of the focus areas, which was social media use. The upside to the use of social media in this regard has been meeting both of you on social media. I met Mqo on LinkedIn. I think
On
it was
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Mqo.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
this was
LinkedIn.
this was back in 2018. So it's been about 8 years now, and we've been very
yeah.
good friends ever since. Um, I don't know how many hours you and I have spoken over the phone. We talk almost on a daily basis, and our calls are never short. We speak for like an hour, sometimes close to 2 hours or even more. Uh, I met Nzuzo on Facebook in 2016. I was still in Pretoria at that time. And
Yeah.
it was during a time where I was actually doing my very first gig, my very first job as an intern at the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform. It's now it's split departments, the agriculture, then there's the land division. Um, and I remember at that time I was also doing my BTech at UT. And Nduzo and I would always hop on a call around 4-ish, 4:30-ish, and we'd talk about stuff, just light stuff. And then there was a point where we spoke about the struggles that we would be going through, and I feel like we were like this in terms of our career growth, and I would say to some extent personal growth at the time. And it was easy for us to just have free flowing conversations and to advise each other without necessarily saying, this is the advice that I'm giving you, you know. We were genuinely just king, and a solution sprouts from the conversation, or something positive sprouts from the conversation. So it would be up to the next person whether they take it or not. Right. And these conversations that happen informally for me, which I always have with both of you, they really linger. Once you drop that call, there is something that happens internally. You start processing what you're talking about. Sometimes you're unaware of it, but it's going to come back to you at a later stage. And you try to find the meaning behind that. And what I've started doing now is to ask myself, so why did God actually reveal this to me? Why did it come in this way? And what is the bigger picture that I'm supposed to gain from this? Right. So this is me just saying I appreciate the fact that social media connected us. Yes, I do think that it is highly toxic nowadays. Uh, in as much as AI is toxic, but that's another conversation altogether. And I particularly want to say the conversations that we always have are never taken for granted from my side. And those conversations we normally have, sometimes we'd be driving, sometimes we'd be walking somewhere. But I take valuable lessons from each one of them. And both of you would attest to this, because I would from time to time remind you of at least one occurrence where you would have mentioned something and I make reference to it. So continue being good friends. And I hope you protect your circle of friends, and that the networks that you establish, if you still plan to expand your horizons beyond this horizon, that you will carefully select those friends. With that said, this is Dr. Q from Beyond the Horizons. It's been a pleasure having you.